You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include complex relationships, familial conflict, grief, death of loved ones, fantasy violence, romance, flirting, kissing, references to sex, memory loss, and brief descriptions of dissociation. Arc 3, Episode 28. To Watch Souls Bloom. From Praying Beside the Teeth That Killed Me by Connie Chang. The warehouse that Yara Thakrar calls home has never been in a more sorry state. The amps are silent, the instruments are still and bare. Even the mushrooms hooked up to MIDI controllers look wilted inside their plastic bags, old spores proliferating in the stale, broken air left behind by the absence of music. As for the littlest spider herself, Yara Thakrar sits on the mattress on the floor, hugging her knees to her chest. They stare blankly into space, letting the darkness of their room consume them, body, mind, and soul. After their sibling left the party, the rest of the night was a blur. A drink poured and shared, the stares, the whispers, the guilt. The guilt. It eats at Yara from the inside out, new and biting, old and rotted. A frantic, distant part of her is screaming, shouting at her to get up, go there, see what's happening for herself. It's the same part of Yara that shrieks her deepest emotions into the mic, the part of her that conducts and conjures and creates. But it feels so far away. Like a dream at the end of a tunnel. Yara can't do anything right now but sit there. And sit. And sit. Hours pass. The darkness pressing at the tinted windows of her warehouse starts to lighten, develop color, shades of pink and red and deep bruised purple. And still, Yara sits and feels guilt and feels nothing at all. And then the door shudders open. The sound ricochets like a bullet through this warehouse, and then footsteps approach Yara, familiar footsteps, footsteps they've been praying and praying and praying for, and they spring up and leap into action. Yara scrambles to her feet, turns, runs, slams into you, Rho, in a desperate hug, and tears are streaming, and she's talking, and she's stammering, "You're alive! You're alive! You're alive! Thank the ancestors! I'm so sorry, Rho! I'm so sorry! And she collapses against you into more tears, more weeping, more stuttered apologies.
Rho was shocked and taken aback at first by the sudden contact and the hug. If Rho had breath to be knocked out of their chest, it would have come right out. And that hesitation was only for a moment, for that brief surprise, before Rho's own arms wrap around Yara's body, holding her tightly up against himself. And they bury their face in her hair, and they just hold her. They let Yara spill out, say everything that they want to, before she starts to slow down, starts to pause, and that's when Rho lets her go and holds Yara's face in both of their hands, cupping it gently. Their thumbs wipe away some of the bloody tears that are now running down their face. Are you okay, Yara?
Me? I'm okay, of course I'm okay, I'm fine. You, how are you? Are you hurt? Did they hurt you?
As Yara takes a look at Rho, you can see that they are disheveled, to put it nicely. At this point, Rho is not wearing shoes because Tavash had broken one of Rare heels, and so rather than limping their way through Inferno, they had just cast the shoes aside entirely. There are rips and tears in the clothes, and there is just so much dust and rubble covering different parts of Rho, but they're alive. And Rho nods, smiling very softly at Yara. I'm okay as well.
Thank the ancestors. Okay. Wait, so does that mean...
No. No. Tavash is also okay.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Come.
Okay. And she lets you lead her.
Rho leads Yara to that mattress that was placed on the ground in one corner of the warehouse, and Rho sits down next to Yara and holds Yara closely to themselves, like they're afraid that if they let go, Yara will float off, find herself on a distant part of the web, a place that even Ray can't reach. And says, I am so sorry about the way that tonight happened. I never would have thought that you would have gotten hurt like that. If I had known, I would not have suggested the album release party. I wouldn't have put you in harm's way like that.
It's not your fault, Rho. I was just hurt, so I got angry, and I said those horrible things to you, and I was so scared. I regretted it as soon as you left, but I couldn't go after you. I was such a coward. I couldn't go after you.
Rho's hand moves to stroke Yara's hair, moving some of the pieces that are falling on her face back behind her ear. And Rho shakes her head. No, I'm glad you weren't there. Believe me, it's better that you were here, that you were safe. There's a lot that we need to talk about.
Yara nods against your chest. Deep breaths coming in, going out, not because she has to breathe, but because she has to process, just like you. And they murmur against you. Yeah, I think so too. Listen, Rho, there's something this is all my fault.
What? No, it's not your fault that Tavash decided to write a, quite frankly, poorly written review.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Astor. That night, after you left, I mean, I always knew, Rho, I always knew what you were up to with Tavash, even if we didn't talk about it openly. I suspected, and you looked so happy. And then that night, when Mother couldn't find you, she came to me. I didn't mean to. I don't know how she figured it out. I wasn't good enough at hiding it from her. That's how she found you. And I'm so sorry, Rho. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. Astor and you and what happened with Tavash, it's all my fault. And if you hate me, I understand. If you never want to see me again, I also understand. But please can you just stay for just a little while longer.
And all of the pieces start falling into place. Ro had always wondered how Willow and Astor had known, how they could have come at just the right time, at just the right place, and how everything had hinged on that. And it makes sense now. But Ro takes a second, places all of the pieces together, and then there's a small chuckle that comes out of Ro's mouth without from even meaning to. And Ray says, "What are you talking about, littlest spider? Hate you? No. No, I could never hate you. I know that you knew. I mean, we used to talk about it in not so many words. I wanted to talk about it with you in different words. But like you said, it was an accident, right?"
Yara nods very quickly, and seeing not hatred, not hardness, not blame in your eyes, but understanding, affection, love. It's too much for her again, and she breaks down crying,
Hey.
buries her face into your chest once more, hugs you tightly.
There is nothing that Yara could do to elicit Ro's hatred. Anger, frustration, disappointment, sure, but never hatred. And Ro thinks back to Astor and that night, and thinks about how even in that moment, when Ro was the reason that Astor was dying, that even then, he had told them that he loved them. And even then, Astor didn't hate them. So how could Ro hate Yara? And they let Yara cry in their lap. And Ro starts crying a little themselves. And they ask, "Hey, do you know what happened to Astor that night?"
I know that there was an accident in the turning. That you didn't mean to, but that she died. Because of what you did.
You can say it.
That you killed her.
Yeah. Do you know what she said?
No.
The last thing that he ever said.
I don't. I didn't know Astor said anything.
I only caught half of it at the time. I didn't realize the full extent of what Astor said to me, but Astor told me that she would see me on the other side, and she told me she loved me.
What?
Plain as day. Said the very words that he had stopped me from saying to him so many years prior. And you know what, Yara? And Ro brings Yara up and holds her gently by the shoulders. I love you, Yara. And I don't want to love you like a curse. I don't want to be afraid of loving you the way that Astor was afraid of loving me.
Shock. Fear. Understanding. Resonance. Filter through Yara's bright yellow eyes in the span of a heartbeat. And then coming out of her almost involuntary and instinctual reaction, I love you too.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, of course I do, Ro.
So you don't hate me?
No, I could never hate you. You're my big sibling.
And I think there's a moment of breathy silence between the two of them after these words come out of their mouths. Because for Ro, and probably for Yara too, this is the first time in their entire life that they have ever said these words, that they have ever told somebody that they love them. And they have been told ever since Ray can remember that telling someone you love them, that loving someone at all, was to bring doom upon yourself and your family and your house. The curse will catch up with you and will take everything that you love away from you. And so to defy that curse, to defy that doom in this moment, I think it takes a moment before Ro can even say anything at all. But they look into Yara's yellow eyes and they smile. They say, I have been just unfair to you for so long, and I am very deeply sorry for that. I was trying to protect you, to keep you happy, but I realize now that none of that was going to ever do anything except keep you caged, spun around in your own web, and trapped. And so I'm saying, to hell with that. To hell with it. I love you and I'm going to love you. Curse or no curse.
This is the weirdest night of my life.
Yeah, me too.
I want that too. I really do. The performing of it all, Ro. In our house, I have always been okay with weaving these webs to protect our family, to protect the house, to guard our interests, to guard our future. I've always been okay with that. And what I said to you back at the party, I mean, I said a lot of shit to you, Ro, but the part of what I said that I actually do mean is that I'm really okay with what it means to be heir, what it means to be a part of Thakrar's future. But I can't, Ro, I can't pretend around you anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to perform around you. I don't want to dance around that word that I'm still kind of scared to say, like it's going to cut my feet open and cut your feet open too. I can't. I can't.
I was never very good at it. You said as much. You know.
I was just saying shit at that point.
It's true, though. The mask never quite fit me right. Not the way that it fit Astor. And
I mean, you've always been so earnest, Rho. I mean, even what you did with Tavash, Astor never would have dared to do anything like that, anything close to it. You're really brave, Rho.
I wonder sometimes what Astor would have really wanted. You know, what he really felt. And I don't want to wonder that with you. I know that you love your music. I can see it every time you perform, every time you are here writing and playing. I can see it, and I don't want you to push that away. I don't want you to push me away.
I don't want to do that either. That's why it hurt so bad. What Tavash wrote, what Tavash said. And honestly, like, the logical part of my brain knows that they were just saying that shit to get to you, to make you angry. That it wasn't even about me, even though it was about me, and that pissed me off too. But the arrow hit a part of me that I always knew existed, but I never wanted to look at. Just the fact that you're right, Rho. I love music. I love making music, even music that sucks at first, but I love making it not suck. I love writing lyrics and composing new songs and, you know, buying new equipment, playing with all of these new arrangements of sound. I really, really do, Rho. And I didn't know it could hurt me so bad. And I don't want it to be able to hurt me so bad, but I don't know if the way forward is to just not do it anymore. But I can't. My music can't be a part of this game. It can't be a part of the webs we weave. It can't be a pawn, Rho.
And I don't want it to be, either. I want you to continue to make music. And Tavash... Ta is a very skilled architect and designer. But what he is not is a musician or a critic. And everything that they said in their review, if we can deign to call it that, was just a thinly veiled attack on me and our house. Your music, it comes from you. It has heart. It means something. Even when it sucks, it still means something, and that's what makes it good. That's what gives it life.
I think part of what made that review hurt so much too was... Look, I know Tavash isn't a musician, and they're definitely not a critic. I mean, honestly, you've written things that are way meaner. Not about me, though. But kind of the heart of what they were getting at was, like, that I didn't have an identity, that I wasn't trying to say anything, that the album was just kind of pretty technical sounds with no heart or no soul, and that really stung because I'm kind of scared that a part of them is right. Like, who do I want to be? Who am I? What do I want? And I've been thinking about that all night, and worrying, and thinking, and worrying, and thinking, and I do want to be a part of the house. I do want to be a part of Thakrar, but not in the way it always has been.
Honestly, me too. I've never really stopped to ask myself what's good for me. It's always what's good for the house. And I think for both of us to have even the chance to ask those questions, let alone to answer them.
Yeah. And isn't it messed up that those two things are different? Shouldn't what's good for us be good for the house, and what's good for the house be good for us?
I think we have to talk to Willow, to our mother.
Yeah. I know I'm the littlest spider and all, but I do want to be able to have a bigger say in what the house does, what I do in the house, where the house goes. This sounds so silly to say out loud, but I have dreams. I have things I want to do that don't just involve fucking over Lanius.
Yeah. And I'd like to see those dreams come true, and God, I want to put together an art exhibit of imperfect, shitty art that says something.
Mom would hate that so much.
Yeah. But, Yara, you know that there is a chance that Mom won't like what we have to say, right?
Yeah, I do.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Truthfully, the thought scares me.
Yeah, I'm terrified at the prospect of bringing up any of this with her. But I think we have to at least try. I think we owe it to her to try.
I think with you I can. Together, we can. And, Yara, I don't want to sacrifice you, your dreams, your happiness, our ability to love on the chance that Mother doesn't agree. Regardless of how she feels, can't believe I'm going to say this, I am heir to House Thakrar, and that means that I get to decide how the house is, how we run, what we believe in from now on, and that's already been decided. So even if Mother doesn't agree, we don't go back. Not to the way that things were.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, you actually looked kind of cool when you said that.
Shut up.
Yeah, no matter what Mom says, she can agree, she can disagree, she can forbid us from doing whatever it is that we say we're gonna do, but we're gonna do it anyway. You and me.
Together.
I like this. I like talking with you. Like a person. It's nice.
Yeah. It's weird.
I know, super weird.
But it's nice. And I think there's like a discomfort that Rho feels as well at the plainness with which they're speaking. They're so used to speaking around a subject that talking about it, naming it, is still uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable.
Rho.
Yara, the same expression is mirrored on Yara's face. It's like she's sitting on a bed of Legos. She keeps like shifting on the mattress a little.
And I think to break the uncomfortable feeling between the two of them, Rho just leans in and like nudges Yara's shoulder and says, "Come on. We have a lot to prepare for."
Right. Oh, ancestors, the bloodbath.
Yeah.
Hey, is everything okay with you and Tavash?
I don't know.
I really thought I wasn't gonna see one of you ever again. And I was really scared it was gonna be you.
Me too.
Okay.
But it has to end. And it will. Tomorrow.
Right. Okay. And Yara sniffs, kind of pulls her shoulders back, lets out one last kind of shuddering sigh, collects herself, but her eyes are still brimming with those blood-red tears. She looks at you with a small, wavering, but genuine smile. Promise we're in this together?
I promise.
Okay, me too. You should probably take a bath and, like, prepare your clothes and, you know, I mean, you look really terrible. You look like you got mauled by a werewolf.
I might as well have.
Okay. And Yara starts to stand, and as the two of you get to your feet, she suddenly turns and gives you another really tight, like, bone-cracking hug.
And Rho reciprocates so tightly, holds their sister close to them.
We fade to black. The day passes all too quickly, and before anyone can so much as blink, it's nighttime again. Dusk falls over Inferno like an assassin's cloak, and with it, the city gasps awake to its second life. Tonight is a special night. It is the grand reopening of the Recluse Gallery, the site of the next bloodbath. A snowflake falls from an overcast sky. It tumbles through the air past the gleaming walls of a towering skyscraper. A frigid wind blows this snowflake over the tops of countless buildings, temples, malls, schools, offices, until it lands on the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Inferno Contemporary Museum of Art. As the snow starts to fall in earnest, this building stands as a silent witness on the banks of the Red River. It is a monument to architecture and artistry intertwined. It is the site of Inferno's inevitable transformation, and it is breaking? Crash! The front doors blow open, a window shatters, and tumbling out onto the polished green lawn, now littered with broken glass and a light dusting of snow, is Strike Team Nova. But we're not quite there yet. Let's rewind the clock and start from the beginning. Inside the ICMA, we find a dazzling atrium in full artistic bloom. Breathtaking pieces adorn concrete walls, videos project onto shimmering tapestries of wood and yarn, private alcoves hum with immersive installations of sound and color and smell. This is the grand opening of a brand new installation in the Recluse Gallery titled A House United. A curious, voracious crowd ambulates throughout the gallery, taking in the art, commenting on their favorites. They are dressed in a vibrant gradient of styles and formality. Heels and suits, jeans and sneakers, every corner of Inferno is represented here in the ICMA. We see familiar faces from the party last night, Sakti and Anugata, Toyin and Anise, but there are new faces too. Mortal and vampire. We see Ting Ting, dressed in a Hanfu-style top, cinched by a leather corset, wearing a pair of loose-fitting trousers. Tada long black hair is styled into a loose bun, with an intricate sapphire hairpin shaped like a serpent. They are accompanied by their service dog, Virgil, as well as a few mortal monks wearing the humble robes of a shrine attendant. We also see Aditi Lanius. The matriarch of the Shrikes wears muddy, steel-toed boots, work trousers, and her usual flannel, now unbuttoned to reveal a sleeveless white shirt streaked with grease. She is accompanied by a small flock of other Shrikes, none of whom include Tavash. The other attendees cast furtive looks at the members of House Lanius, but no one openly gossips. They wouldn't dare. Strike Team Nova. This is your second party in a row. And you realize now that Yara's album release party was a mere pregame to the event you now attend. There are even more people here and even higher stakes. How do you take it all in? And now, let's actually pause. Yep, because I believe... Sorry. I think I'm getting something from our producer? Okay, keep going?
Yep.
Got it. Okay, understood. Cool. Sam's coming back? They're good? Okay, cool. Good. I just wanted to check in to make sure. Great. So, back to the story. Strike Team Nova. How do you take this party in?
Xainan is tired. He's never bodied a bus before, among a 1,000 other things that happened last night. And on top of it, he did not sleep well. The day wore on him down into his very sinews and bones because all he could think about was who was at the door. Who came looking for them? Was it someone he could trust? Or was the Twilight Guard coming for them to ask them questions that he was not ready to answer? And did he endanger Nova by taking this risk? So he looks a little worn, but he always looks worn. And I think as he soaks it all in, he is comforted by the sound of Inferno, so alive in its undeath. A place that he feels like has embraced them as much as they have embraced her. What do you think? You ready for another one?
Ready as I'll ever be. Seir says exhaustedly. He too did not sleep. They, I believe that Xainan and Seir may have shared the room yesterday, but neither of them were asleep. Seir was lying down, eyes trained onto the ceiling, hearing the vehicles roll by on the streets of Inferno. He spent all night waiting and waiting and waiting for some sort of divine smiting upon him, some comeuppance, a bright light of the Prime Oracle to beckon him home for a perhaps deserved reprimand, something, please, anything to stop this waiting. And Seir is no good at waiting. He arrives to the Recluse Gallery with that same amount of dread. The Omen speaker is uneasy. He's pinching the bridge of his nose, trying to keep alert and awake. Notices Tavash is absent here. Puts hands on either side of his waist. I smell complication. Tavash is not here.
I mean, he said he would be. We'll see. Hopefully we don't get any more surprises like we did the first time we were at one of these shindigs.
Zai, you know we are, right? We're going to have to do something, right, Zai?
I think I've done enough for at least a day or so.
What about you, Lumièra? How are you taking this grand soiree in? Oh, you're muted, I think.
Remember to unmute your hard mute. I think Lumièra is still in a space that's like here but like not here. She understands that there's still like a mission that has to, in her mind, there's still a mission that has to be like worked, and she's still in a I think she's just still in a very weird spot. So she's kind of like taking everything in, but it's just kind of like surface level.
Yinghe is at Seir's side, an ever-protective shadow. And in fact, as Seir's eyes fall on the members of House Lanius and several construction workers eye him, almost dangerously, threateningly, it is Yinghe who steps in front of you. And you don't see the expression she makes because the back of her head is to you. But whatever look she shoots them causes these huge burly workers to shudder a little. They shrink back and they avert their gaze.
Everything all right, Neela?
Oh, yes, everything's fine. Just want to make sure no one else here has it out for you. I'm going to make sure that you don't get hurt tonight. Or ever again.
Seir hears that and feels the tiny layer of like threat that exists at the base of all of those words. Smiles and like squeezes Yinghe's hand and says, I'm alright. Any uneasiness I have tonight is because I don't think any of us know what's about to happen.
Well, no matter what unfolds, the important thing is that we're all here to see it through to the end.
Right.
And that there is...
Whatever that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Lumièra, your eye is drawn to one person in this space in particular. You see Toyin Ifuego sitting in front of a striking portrait. This portrait depicts a figure sketched with uncertain lines, kneeling with their head in their hands. Their face is concealed behind shaking fingers, and a circular piece of their chest is missing, blacked out entirely by splotches of dark ink that dribble onto the ground before them. And in the empty space of their chest, we see the skyline of Inferno, an entire city, an entire home contained within a single figure. The professor hasn't said anything or made any indication or hasn't even looked in your direction, but you get the distinct feeling that Toyin Ifuego is sitting there waiting for you.
One second.
Yeah.
And Lumièra makes her way over to the portrait. I think she's taking it in first as she's walking towards it. She's trying to see what Toyin is so enamored by. And she walks up to it, stands there, still as a mouse, for just a brief moment. And she sighs and just says, I have a lot of feelings about this one.
Lumièra Nova, it's good to see you here.
You as
I
well.
trust you had an eventful night last night?
If eventful is a word that could describe it, yes.
This piece, it drew my eye since I came into this space. This figure, it's shaking with loss. And yet, in the emptiness left behind by whatever has been taken from them, are the seeds of a new beginning. Inferno. A home. Brimming deep within. Something no measure of violence or grief or rage could ever tear from them.
I like that. That wasn't exactly what I was seeing at first, but I can see it now. At first, I kind of thought of it more of being hollowed out by a longing of home that's not there anymore. But also at the same time, it's that longing, that void that's still being filled by what is considered home now. But I'm not an artist. I read, I think, logic moves me. Art is just something to marvel at. More of a history record, if anything else.
I would politely disagree with you on that point, Miss Nova. Much of the work you've turned in this semester goes far and above beyond mere academia. It is creative, it is original, it is innovative, it is artistic.
I never really thought of my brain as being artistic, but I will take the compliment.
Something's different about you, Miss Nova. And Lumièra, I have a question for you. Are you covering up your gold-tipped hand?
Lumièra's hand, I think, is kind of like in her sleeve a bit, but you can still kind of see her gold-tipped fingers. I don't think she was making much of a super conscious effort to hide it completely.
Something glimmers in your palm, but it's
She
more than
moves her
that,
hand
isn't
back. Yeah. It seems that in my void, I might have found something I previously lost.
I always knew there was something beautiful inside of you, Miss Nova. Something once lost, now found, once bound, now freed. Can I see it?
And Lumièra kind of like unsheaves her arm from behind her back. And she looks a bit bewildered and is like looking around the art gallery for eyes on them in this interaction before she finally is like, here, right now.
What other time is better?
And Lumièra kind of shrugs at that. There's been few places here in Inferno where Lumièra has felt full, felt seen, and respected. Not that Nova has not respected her, but there's still that line of trans agents that outlines pretty much everything. So she loosens her hand out of her sleeve and with the most almost imperceptual of motions crafts a liminal around both her and Toyin, seemingly freezing everyone else in the party where they stand, but they still move.
A translucent golden sphere with a surface of interlocking clockwork gears springs into existence and encases yourself and Professor Toyin Ifueko. Inside this liminal, time moves so quickly that everything else on the outside seems to come to a freezing halt. And Toyin's eyes widen. She looks around in marvelous wonder. Her jaw drops, and for the first time you see the professor, the most erudite person in all of Inferno, flabbergasted, at a loss for words.
She grins at that, kind of taking a slight pride in it.
This is not what I expected. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but not this. And then those hazel eyes travel back to you, something clicking into place behind them. This is not a dark gift. This is you, isn't it?
Yeah. Only me.
I always knew there was something about you, Miss Nova. And she reaches out in wonder, like someone reaching out for a beautiful butterfly in a meadow, and she grazes the internal wall of this sphere, leaving ripples in her wake that emanate outward from that point of contact, ripples you feel within your soul. It's as though she's reaching out.
It tickles.
Huh. You sense that?
Yeah. I didn't know that was something I could stop. I didn't know that was something I could feel before.
Well, this sphere, these gears, they're you, Lumièra. And I mean your abilities, yes, but I also mean your interiority, your subconscious. If one were to believe in the concept of souls, I would say this stuff is made from it.
I had have to learn how to not use so much of me when doing this. And she kind of gestures to her white hair and her hand as like kind of like proof of that.
There is a cost. Of course there is a cost. This is powerful stuff, Miss Nova. But any craft can be plied with skill, any ability can be trained and improved. This included.
Yeah. I see that now.
You've mentioned to me before that you've lost things. Whenever you talk about home, Lumièra, I see a look of distant grief come across your face.
I lost home a long time ago. I was a child, single digits. And not only did I lose it, but I lost it. Memories, feelings, smells, textures, tastes, all of it gone. And not just gone as if it was there once and it's gone now, gone like it's never was there to begin with.
There are some psychologists that believe the body, the mind, the heart stores all memories, even the ones we think we've forgotten. I suspect that there is a key to gaining back that which you have lost, and that key is inside of you. Within these interlocking gears, I see something within the flash of its clockwork turning. Glimmers of my own past reflected back to me, and I suspect that if you peered deeper, you'd see glimmers of yours.
Lumièra looks confused. Look within the gears?
Yes. Like I said, any craft can be honed, any skill can be trained. Perhaps you can learn to see and untangle the hidden fabric of your own identity, of your subconscious, of your psychology made literal and manifest, of your dreams, your memories.
All right, I'll give it a go. And she turns, focusing her gaze right on the gears that were directly behind her head. And her eyes laser in and focus like we have seen them do a million times before when she focuses on something. And she steps closer to the wall of the liminal, her gaze peering in between the points where those two gears meet and start to separate away from each other. Just in that little gap where the gears separate and meet back up again to another one, she peers directly into the middle of it.
Why don't you channel for me, Lumièra?
Do I get anything extra, or just flat channel?
You know what? I will give you an extra D for the contextual revelations that are coming to you in this moment.
Thank you, Connie.
I can't believe Connie's giving.
Stop
Gifts?
that, Hamnah.
A 5.
That's pretty good.
Five is the
Okay.
highest.
You focus your gaze on that negative space between two gears as they're like clicking against each other, and in that pause before the motion continues again, you see a flash of an ocean, of a stretch of shoreline, of water lapping at a coast. And in the distance, on the coast, you see figures, a person, two people, your mothers? And then the gear clicks again, and the image is lost. No other ones come to you. But in that moment of focus, it did rise, dredged up from the depths of your subconscious.
Wait a second. I don't have to be in the grove for this. What?
Miss Nova, I believe I have taught you everything I know. And I don't think I can instruct you around the specifics of this particular craft. But everything I've taught you stays with you, no matter where you go. And that final sentence, no matter where you go, it drips with a different second meaning, a special inflection to the words. Toyin suspects you're not going to be in Inferno forever. She has intuited it.
I think in characteristics of something that is completely out of character for Lumièra, I think she like just flings her arms around Professor Fuego in like a hug.
And the professor seems surprised, taken aback at first. But then a genuine smile, a rare, real smile, comes across her face. And the head of House
Thank you.
Huyan. You don't have to. Actually, I can think of one way. Find out who you are, Lumièra Nova, and never waver in your journey. And she hugs you back.
Can I tell you a secret?
Anything.
My name is Lumièra Ashinyobi Asuparafaram.
Beautiful name. Fit for royalty. Xainan. As Lumièra goes to greet the professor, or perhaps to say goodbye, you glimpse a familiar figure in the crowd. Diablo Suarez vanishes into one of several private alcoves. This one is about the size of a photo booth and contains a blackout curtain. And right before Diablo vanishes behind this tapestry, his hazel eyes catch yours with a glint. And then he's gone.
Well, Xainan has been running his fingers over the brim of his hat over and over again, thinking about this crowd and looking around. And he sees that. He drums his fingers on the very crown of his hat and looks to Seir with a bit of a smile, puts his hat on his head. I'll see you later. And he just starts
All right,
walking.
Xainan, you approach this alcove and you head inside, ducking your hat underneath this swaying curtain. And as you do, your vampiric eyes adjust quickly to the darkness, and you find yourself surrounded by canvas, decorated with paintings of handprints, all kinds of hands from all kinds of people. And the walls of canvas here extend up, all the way to the ceiling of the gallery. Despite the small circumference of this piece, there is a dizzying sense of vertical scale, like you're looking up a literal ladder of ancestors. Diablo is next to you. He's very, very close. You can feel his breath on your skin. His hand rests against the side of your waist, and he gently pulls you in, not for a kiss, not for a flushed and panting moment in private, but for you. Just you. They want you to be close.
Xainan exhales so deeply. That contact, that reassuring touch of being needed, wanted, present here with Diablo. He didn't even realize he was holding his breath. He looks first at all the hands, thinking about ancestors and stars and how every handprint in this room tells him how many people had to make this art, how many hands it took to build this thing of beauty. He thinks about his place here among them, among Inferno, with Diablo. It feels a little like it could be home. And he lets that sit with him for a minute. Hey.
Hey. How are you holding up?
Better now. And he just nudges Diablo a little.
I saw what you did to that bus.
Yeah, I'm still feeling that one.
That shield is something else. Fits you.
Yeah? You think?
Yeah. I mean, the rifle fits you too, but shield is a nice choice.
Yeah. And Xainan fiddles a little with the ring on his thumb, the ring that he has a facsimile of the one from the City of Heaven on his hand that he has worn in Inferno. And he runs his hand over it, thinking again of what he said to Tavash. To be the archer. To choose. You know, I'm glad that there were no second deaths last night.
Oh, believe me, so am I. I was terrified, Xainan. I thought I wasn't just going to lose one of my closest friends, but both of them. The thing about that terror is it's a fear I've harbored since the day Astor died. I've been waiting for this sword to drop. But for the first time in a long time, it almost feels like things might be different. Tell me I'm not a fool for believing that.
I think now that everything is at least clearer, they could be. If Inferno chooses it to be.
That final decision is up to Rho and up to Tavash. No one else can make that choice for them. And I know them. I know Rho. I know Tavash. I know the beautiful things both of them are capable of, and I know the devastating horrors both of them are capable of. I suppose beauty and horror exists in all of us in equal measure, and maybe they're not so different when you look at them in a different angle. But I hope, ancestors, I hope they make the right choice.
Xainan squares up to Diablo, looks over that handsome face. Promise me something.
Depends on what you're asking. A small smile plays at the edges of his lips, but the glint in his eye tells you to continue.
Don't let the anger of this city destroy you.
I'm a survivor, Xainan. I survived what happened to me before I came here. I survived 1,000 heartbreaks and 1,000 burnt bridges. Hell, I burnt some of my own. And for the longest time, I told myself it was better to keep my heart guarded, so the rage of others would bounce right off of it, hit someone else, anyone else but me. But then I met Rho, met Tavash, and goddammit, they helped me through the hardest part of my life. And I realized that an open heart, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. But only if it's surrounded by others. I can hold it and see it for what it is. I've been alone for so long, Xainan. And then I wasn't, and then I am again. But maybe home is closer than I thought it is. I mean, it's all around me. It's above us, isn't it? This home
Sure
I've been
is.
searching for, this home I found for myself. This home that I don't want to have to choose one house or the other house over for. I'm selfish, Xainan, and I want to have it all. Maybe I can.
I hope you can.
Pulls you in, he
Oh.
kisses you.
Oh. Xainan, stuck in this moment of begging Diablo to not be destroyed by the anger that he understands in Aditi that he would not blame in Willow, even if they know the truth. But he also doesn't want Diablo to be swallowed by a city in rage. This kiss grounds him. And it makes him remember what is probably coming next. You deserve to be happy, Diablo.
So do you, Xainan.
And like I said before, we all come from somewhere. Sometimes home follows us.
What are you saying?
I'm saying my family and I might be in a bit of trouble. And whatever happens, I am very grateful that you let me close.
You're acting like we're not gonna close ranks around you and protect you. Because your family isn't just your family anymore, Xainan. Being close to me means I'm willing to stake down my own limb, my own life, for those you hold dear. Inferno is your home, Xainan, if you want it to be. I know you said home follows you, and believe me, I understand what that means. Sometimes ghosts, they don't stay quiet, and they bite, and they bite, and they don't let go. But this is Inferno. We've got exorcists. We've got vampires, we've got werewolves. Fuck, we're ghosts too, aren't we? Inferno has your back, Xainan. Don't you ever forget that.
Xainan kisses them again. Deeply, openly, more vulnerable than if he had ripped his chest open. Because for the first time in over a decade, Xainan thinks he could stay in one place. He made
Seir.
his kiss.
Seir.
What about me? What about me?
Give me a second! I really... You're killing me over here!
I'm so tired already. Mom, come pick me up.
Mom's not here. It's just me. Okay, you're in the river. Seir. As Lumièra and Xainan find their people, a familiar voice greets both you and Yinghe from behind. Ah, little stag, you survived. And you see Ting Sing, accompanied by their dog as well as a fellow monk.
Seir was taking this whole place in, scanning, looking for a mote of danger, as he usually does, the loyal guard dog. And as soon as he hears Ting Sing's voice, he turns around, lets out a wry chuckle, and looks at Ting Sing and says, "Hi, and hello, Virgil." And also nods at the monk right by Ting Sing's side. "I survived.
Yes.
Your
Yes, you did.
omen was accurate."
But it appears that the outcome was still in your hands. I'm glad you made it long enough to join these festivities. And they give you a big, genuine smile, and at the same time, they hand the monk next to them a pouch of coins. And the monk grins and goes off.
What was that?
Just a little bit.
Uh, On what? Never mind.
On what, Abbot? Walk with me, stag. You as well, little crane. There are so many beautiful art pieces for us to feast our senses on. Like this one. And the abbot stops in front of an art piece you know too well. Intricate red threads form a hanging weave of fabric, cloth, and wood. It is the crimson tapestry made real, a literal interpretation of the social contracts that bind the houses of Inferno, giving language and shape and form to the emergent narratives of this city. Each thread contains a story, a perspective, a disparate piece of Inferno, and together they paint the picture of a greater story being woven. And then you realize that Sing Sing hasn't been looking at this piece at all, they've been looking at you, measuring your reaction. What do you think?
I don't think Seir can hide any physical reaction he has with red threads. The threads of crimson scarlet hook into him, and they hold him there for a moment as he takes in the entirety of this tapestry. I think it's beautiful. It's interesting to see something that everyone talks about made real like this. Kind of looks like blood spilling out of a promise.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. Something I particularly enjoy about this piece is how every single thread connects to every other thread. On its own, it's easy to snap or break, but together it's not so easy to tear apart. There's something else too. Don't tell anyone I'm about to do this. And Sing Sing steps forward and pulls at one of the threads, even though there's a no touching side. They pull at it, and you see the whole tapestry vibrate from that one point of contact. And then they quickly step back as if they didn't do anything.
Seir had his hand out and then the vibration finally settles.
A single choice can have 1,000 consequences. Some we can see and anticipate, others we may never know.
And Seir thinks on that, on the form that took in his mind, which was domino falling after domino. But seeing this visual reaction, and he looks across all of these threads. Like Lumièra, my choices changed my fate.
Yes. Fate is such a funny concept, isn't it? You know, as the abbot here, I am, in many people's eyes, the arbiter of fate, the voice piece of fate. And I suppose in some ways I am, but in other ways, fate is really just a way of describing the fact that each of us is dealt a different hand in this life, isn't it? But it's up to us how we play those hands.
It took me a long time to understand that. I always thought that there were just good endings and bad endings, and you just hope you make enough of the right choice that you get the good ending instead of the bad. But
without the bad things, the good things don't really have meaning, do they? And besides, that's not even possible. I don't know if it's possible to live a life that's just good. It'd be rather dull if that happened, wouldn't it?
That, and also whatever happened last night to lead up to here, and he looks at the gathering of these muscular, burly folks from from House Lanius and the few members of House Thakrar that are moving and weaving by the space. Seir fiddles with that red thread, waiting for a shoe to drop, either in this instance or on the calling of fate towards Nova. Whatever shoe that is meant to drop, he is waiting for it to fall. But it doesn't happen. Everyone made choices to lead to today. And I realize that doesn't change any of the pain. Folks know the truth. The bad ending that we hoped to avoid was avoided. But there's still suffering.
Sometimes we can make all the right choices with the information we have, and bad things will still occur. And sometimes we don't do anything at all, and good fortune falls into our laps. Life is arbitrary like that little stag. I prefer to believe in the idea that some things are predetermined. It gives all of the events in our lives meaning. Good and bad events. Surely you've heard the phrase, bad things happen for a reason. All things happen for a reason, even. And that's a rather comforting truth to believe in, isn't it?
Seir thinks on that, and he smiles. If a bad ending greets me, or a good one, I'd like to leave with the idea that that moment mattered. That my choices mattered.
Of course they do. After all, we are all travelers along this river of destiny. Whatever happens to us was always meant to happen.
A switch goes off in Seir's head. Whatever happens was always meant to happen. And that includes what may happen to us, to Nova. Seir's eyes fall upon a man with a black hat holding a tender moment with another, and over to Lumièra looking upon a painting with her professor, and then finally to Yinghe beside him. And they think to themselves, if my destiny, if our destiny leads us down a path, I can make a choice about it. I can hold fast on whatever hammer, whatever judicial impact, whatever conclusion, whatever reprimand or punishment he can carry. And he can hold for Nova. Not because he's the protector, not because that's what he's meant to do or should be doing, but because he's choosing to. Seir chooses to hold whatever bad ending comes for us. For Nova.
Ting Sing cocks their head to the side as though they see some sort of revelation clicking into place in your eyes. And they say, whether or not you believe in fate or free will, or perhaps these concepts are not so opposed in the way that we think, whatever you believe, the choices we make in this life, let's make sure they're choices we can live with.
I think I can live with that one. He smiles at Ting Sing and he says, you know, your omen really could have told me that there was going to be a steel rebar in my chest.
Oh my! And you survived? There is a monk I should talk to about the outcome of a bet. There was a very specific type of phrasing in the bet, you see, and it might be out a good amount of silver. But regardless, you can sense it too, can't you?
What do you mean?
Yes, Abbot, what do you mean? Sense what? Oh, that everything perhaps, is about to change. Right here, at this bloodbath. For better or for worse.
Seir has a guilty look over to Yinghe. He has felt it since they left the house, and he feels it right here, right now. Just waiting for either a shrike's wings to take flight, a spider's maw to open up, or glass to shatter.
Well, whatever happens, little stag and little crane, make decisions you can be proud of, yes?
Seir smiles at the abbot and holds his hand out that has the red thread. I will endeavor to. And he, as if the abbot were to take his hand, he will lean in to whisper, and I hope the next time you bet on me, you win better.
The abbot does take your hand, does let you whisper in their ear, and they laugh at that. Well, yes, next time, I think I will not bet against you. Ah, but soft. And they look off in one direction before anyone else does, sensing it first. For you see, Strike Team Nova, one by one by one, the attendees of the bloodbath grow quiet. It starts from the entrance to the Recluse Gallery and ripples inward, a domino effect of silence and tension, and when it reaches each of you, it becomes rapidly clear what everyone is now muttering and murmuring about. Stepping across the threshold of the Recluse Gallery is Tevash Lanius. Their cane taps against the polished floor as they stride toward the center of the room, and the entire gallery here has been waiting for this moment. Vampire, werewolf, spirit, and mortal alike. The promise of a performance art piece that would change the very fabric of Inferno. Rho, you've been absent from the gallery floor until now. How do you make your entrance?
Rho walks in with the confidence that only the heir to House Thakrar can have. Rho walks in wearing a lenga today with different shoes than they normally do. Their hair is open, free and flowing behind them, large, and they walk in without saying a word because they don't need to say a word. All attention is pulled in their direction when they do. There are two entrances to the Recluse Gallery. Tevash walks in one and Rho walks in the other.
Rho, Tevash stops a few meters away from you. The crowd parts around them, parts around you in an unspoken acknowledgement of what dire outcome might befall your confrontation. And Tevash speaks to you. Words meant only for your ears. Quiet, but sure. I'm here, Rho. As promised.
Then let's end this.
The only other person in this space who dares to move in this moment is Aditi Lanius. Her face is aflame with rage, and what is that? Fear? She pushes through the crowd, trying to reach her fool child before it's too late, but then Diablo Suarez steps forward. He raises his head and addresses not the spider nor the shrike, but the crowd. Houses of Inferno, hear this adjudicator's plea. Rhododendron Thakrar of House Thakrar has formally invoked the Third Crimson Edict, as is their right under the laws unwritten of the Crimson Tapestry. The Edict of Challenge states, "Thou shalt settle thy disputes through formal duels." Rhododendron Thakrar of House Thakrar, do you challenge Tavash Lanius of House Lanius to a formal duel?
I do.
Tavash Lanius of House Lanius, do you accept? I do. This adjudicator hears your concurrence and verifies the challenge. First, I call upon the House's Major to bear witness, if witness can be borne. Is a vassal, retainer, or lex of House Huyen among us on this bitter night? The crowd murmurs and shifts, and then, raising a sleekly manicured hand, is Toyin Ifuego. Her vivid hazel eyes flash beside you, Lumièra, and she says, Toyin Ifuego, mother to House Huyen, is present. Witness well, clever Lex, on behalf of the House of the Fox, and see with eyes unclouded as the professor herself. Is a vassal, retainer, or lex of House Ula among us on this bitter night? Seir, next to you, Sing Sing straightens and pats down their trousers. They turn with a broad, easy smile and step forward with Virgil by their side. Sing Sing, prophet to House Ula, is indeed present. Witness well, humble Lex, on behalf of the House of the Serpent, and see with eyes unclouded as the abbot themselves. Now is a vassal, retainer, or lex of House Kuatun among us on this bitter night. Yeah. The voice rumbles like thunder. The crowd parts as Anugata pushes to the front with Sakti at her side. Anugata Jan, first retainer to House Kuatun, is present. And Sakti speaks as well. Sakti Tun, leader of House Kuatun, is present. Witness well, fearsome retainer and lex, on behalf of the House of the Bear, and see with eyes unclouded as the Mogul herself is a vassal, retainer, or lex of House Lanius among us on this bitter night. The crowd grows still, murmurs descend, eyes dart around, fixing on the members of House Lanius, but no one steps forward, not a single soul, until the leader of the Shrikes does so, like she owns this place. Those crimson eyes flash over the gathered vampires, and when Aditi speaks, it is with complete and utter, unchallenged authority, with a bite of rage. Aditi Lanius, matriarch of House Lanius, is indeed present. The crowd takes in a collective breath. Diablo's expression darkens. Very well, resolute Lex, on behalf of the House of the Shrike, and see with eyes unclouded as the builder herself. Is there a vassal, retainer, or lex of House Thakrar among us on this bitter night? And Willow, who has been circulating this space all night, steps forward. Yara flickering in her shadow. If Aditi is thunder and lightning, Willow Thakrar is the unforgiving rain. She moves with cold and sleek intensity toward the front of the crowd, the vampires by her side stepping back out of instinctive respect. Her yellow eyes are pinned on Rhododendron, an unspoken understanding flaring from mother toward child. She is expecting a very specific outcome from this duel. And in her gaze, bro, you see responsibility. You see duty You see the branches of a family tree engulfed in flame, stretching back for countless generations, each and every one of them steeped in blood. And then Willow speaks. Willow Thakrar, matriarch of House Thakrar, is present. Witness well, artful Lex, on behalf of the House of the Spider, and see with eyes unclouded as the Weaver herself. And now, for the Houses Minor, are there any vassals, retainers, or Lexi among us on this bitter night? An affirmative chorus resounds from the gathered crowd. Various vampires shout various titles and the myriad houses they belong to, and when the shouting dies down, Diablo faces the duelists in question. So it is heard, so it is said. The Houses Major and Minor are present with you both on this bitter night. Rhododendron Thakrar of House Thakrar, state your grievance and the recompense you seek, be it pride, blood, or second death.
My grievance is generations and generations and generations of strife between the spiders and the shrikes. The recompense I seek now is the end.
A murmur ripples through the crowd. We sense bloodlust glimmering in some people's eyes, trepidation in others, curiosity, fear. Diablo nods and turns to face Tavash. Tavash Lanius, claimed by House Lanius, do you accept this grievance and this recompense? And the Architect of Sorrows, eyes they've never strayed from yours, Rho. This entire time they bore into yours even deeper. And Ta says, I do. Very well. The grievances are stated, the terms are thus. This duel shall last until the end is found. Meet in the center and prepare to turn at my command. Tavash strides forward, working their knuckles over the top of their cane. Their crimson eyes continue to fix onto you, Rho, never straying, not even once.
Rho's eyes this entire time have been fixed on Tavash. Only the briefest moment did Rho's eyes wander, that brief exchange between himself and Rare Mother, but otherwise their yellow eyes are fixed tightly, resolutely on Tavash's crimson ones. And Rho's hand goes to their hip, where their rapier, newly forged to represent their status as heir of House Thakrar, adorned with rhododendron flowers all along its basket. They hold on to that rapier as they prepare for the duel.
And now, the two of you are face to face, eye to eye, though you do derive some measure of satisfaction from seeing Tavash look up at you. There's a breath shared between the two of you. So many things unspoken, so many things spoken, and then Diablo says, turn! And Tavash turns.
And so does Rho.
Diablo starts to count down, and with each number, you know you have to take one step forward, each bringing you farther and farther away from Tavash. And Diablo says, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin. And we're gonna end the session there.
I knew you were gonna fucking do that shit, Connie! You don't even know.
Predictable Connie. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Let's do a round of outroductions, starting with our incredible guest for the evening, Hamnah.
Hello everyone. My name is Hamnah. I use any and all pronouns, and I have been Rhododendron Thakrar tonight. Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows? It's a silly fun time. Maybe Rho doesn't even know what's gonna happen.
Stop bullshitting.
What? Why would I ever do that? If you who like what I do, you can follow me all over the internets at LilithTTRPG. I am a tabletop performer and producer, so I'm on a bunch of different APs, and you can see me kind of all around. The thing that I will promote this week is my multimedia production studio, Tender Vicious Studios, has a new tabletop actual play out right now. We just released episode 2 this past Thursday. Definitely this past Thursday is the first time episode 2 was released. So you should go and listen to the actual play podcast called Lori's House, wherever you pod your casts. It is a show about imperfect memory, community, and identity. I'm really proud of it. Cai is our GM and C is our dramaturg. So if you like the work of Transplanter folks, you'll definitely like it.
Hey, Hamnah, is Lori's House available on Tender Vicious, on wherever we all pod our casts?
Yes, it is in fact available wherever you pod your casts. Yeah, go look up Lori's House. It's by Tender Vicious Studios. You can also follow us on all of the social medias at Tender Vicious Studios or tendervicious.com. And with that, I'm going to pass things over to Val.
Hello everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use him as pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spitbear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. Tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing Seir. I sure am going to be making choices last name, who uses he, they pronouns. And yeah, that's just me. See me next week. Well, I scream on this show. Passing it over to Cai.
Hi everyone, I'm Cai. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris, where I talk a lot about costuming, storytelling, and being a gay problem. I've had a sincere pleasure tonight of playing Mr. Xainan Esch, who could stay forever. And on that note, why don't you take it away, Sam?
Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Star. I use she, they, and the occasional they pronouns. You can find me all across the interwebs at Lust for Life X for the time being. I'm thinking about changing it, but still Lust for Life X for the time being. And I played Lumièra, you know, our baby girl. Take us on home, Connie.
It's me, Connie, taking us on home. Thank you all so much for tuning into the third to last stream of Arc 3. Can you believe it? It feels like just yesterday we were stepping into Inferno for the first time. What?
Correct.
Oh, I'm so emotional. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, consider leaving us a positive review on your podcatchers. Spotify, we have a lot of reviews on Spotify. I'd love to get some reviews on Apple Podcasts, some 5-star reviews. You can also join the Discord server. Mods are going to drop the link in chat right now in Twitch, !Discord for the mods, or you can post about us on social media. That really helps, actually helps get more and new listeners and audiences into our seats. Not only does all of this help our creator brains when they are on the verge of burnout, which please believe me, I'm constantly on the verge of burnout and I need this, but it also helps us continue to reach out to sponsors to make this work possible. We're going to be back next week with another episode of Chaos. That is Saturday, April 26th at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have 2 episodes left. Y'all, next week is going to be the penultimate episode of Arc 3. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, your cat,
your parakeet.
Your parakeet. That's right.
Your
say it, don't spray it, Connie. In the meantime, stick around for the raid, and we are going to see you back here next week. Same time, same place. We love you, and we're not afraid to say it openly now. Right, bro?
Yeah, but then I'll be gone after 2 streams.
God, don't remind me. Okay. On that horrifically sad note, thanks, Hamnah. Journey well, translators.
Trust in her.
Trust in her. Howdy, transplanters. You know what time it is. It's sponsor Connie time with a word from Hero Forge. Hero Forge has officially leveled up with kit bashing. When you become a pro member, you can place up to 20 more items anywhere on one of your blorbos with their own independent scaling, rotation, and movement. You can make your character look exactly as they should, even if the specific clothing or accessory option isn't available at the base level. You just have to get a little creative. And because I love you, transplanters, here's a special sneak peek at a kit bashed version of Oblivion. Just look at those wings and that base. This would not be possible without the power of kit bashing. The combinations are literally endless, and you can print your kit bashed blorbos as plastic minis, standees, digital STL files, or even Hero Forge's brand new color statuettes. Color statuettes are twice the size of a regular mini, and just look at this. I mean, look at how massive this is, and especially in comparison to a regular mini, you can really get into all the nooks and crannies and details that wouldn't be as apparent on a regular sized mini. Just look at how Oblivion dwarfs Oka here. And also, if you're a GM, consider busting out one of these bad boys during a boss fight to really get your players shaking in their boots. Oblivion agrees. Unlock the true power of Hero Forge with a Hero Forge Pro subscription starting at $3.99 a month. Get in there and start creating at bit.ly/transforge. Now, let's get back to the show. Or more likely, just more of the waiting room. Trust in her will.